Well, that's embarrassing because I had a different intro video and it didn't play. Welcome back to West Ham United. I am Anton, of course, bringing to you our West Ham Daily. And do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I've not done a huge amount of prep for today's show. Normally we bring you quite informative videos. However, today and last night we were planning to do a Scotland-England preview, but of course we didn't get a chance to do that. But what we are going to do is talk about the England-Scotland game and get your predictions in and let me know your thoughts on it. We've obviously got quite a lot of players playing at the Euros, and as it stands currently, I'm sitting here watching the Croatia-Czech Republic game, and it's 1-0 to the Czech Republic. We've got Tomas Souček, we've got Vladimir Coufal playing in the middle of the park for Czech Republic. You've actually got Thomas Krul, who West Ham are also linked to. You've got the Czech Republic forward, his name just absolutely went by me there. Patrick Schick, who's obviously scored his third goal of the tournament today to make it 1-0 to the Czech Republic. And then, of course, later on, you've got the old enemy, England versus Scotland. So I'm going to try my best to interact as much with the chat as I possibly can throughout this video. But the very first and foremost, West Ham today announced that they'll be taking on the Scottish Premiership side, Dundee, in a pre-season friendly in Dundee on the 9th of July. So if you're not aware, West Ham are going to be training at St Andrews the first week in July. Hopefully I'll be there and I'll bring you as much content from the training ground. I'll let you know what players are playing fit, you know, who's showing up, who's doing really well in the training. Hopefully we'll bring you some footage from the training session as well. And then West Ham will be taking on Dundee in a pre-season friendly before West Ham then come back to London and then later on in July travel back to Scotland again to play Celtic in a pre-season friendly. And fingers crossed they'll allow some fans to go into the game. So if they do, hopefully I'll be bringing you some reports from the friendly games at Dundee and Celtic. So it's going to be interesting. Also, I want to hear your opinion on the West Ham fixtures that were announced. West Ham travel to Newcastle away. We done a video the other day about it as well. So what's your thoughts on West Ham travelling away? And are you confident when you look at the fixture list? And if you think back to last year, there was absolutely no amount of confidence in many West Ham fans. However, due to the announcement of Premier League fixtures going on to the TV broadcasting announcement, that means the first two West Ham games will be moved because of the broadcast. So West Ham, which were due to commence at match will now be played on Sunday, the 15th of August at 2 p.m, which is the Newcastle game, the first time around. And then the West Ham's first home game, which will be against Leicester City, has been pushed to the Monday, the 23rd of August, which will kick off at 8 p.m. as well. And fingers crossed, the fans will be in the stadium. So let's talk England-Scotland. What do you think? Who do you think's going to win? What team selection do you think we're expecting? I've seen some rumours kicking about that they expect maybe Jack Grealish to start for England. Where's your head at in terms of Gareth Southgate's selection compared to Steve Clarke's selection? I think either way, it's going to be an interesting game. And I think what you can actually do is sometimes push away the actual cup competition and consider that it is the old enemy that are taking part with each other. It's going to be an interesting game tonight. And for any... what's this? Sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments. Main boy, Souček. I don't know, are you talking about Souček in the game just now? It's still 1-0 to Czech Republic. Evening, Anton. Thank you, Stu, for joining us. Hi, everyone. Happy Hammer. Thank you. Had me worried for it there for a bit. How are you, Gov? I don't know if you're talking to me, mate. But I hope you're well, Toby. Good to see you, mate. Glenn Marshall's going for a prediction of England 3, Scotland 1. Andy Pepper saying good evening all. Hope everyone is well this Friday evening. Andy Pepper saying hopefully England will edge it 2-1. Yankee is saying I think Scotland will win. I just find it really interesting because I think you can move the tournament aside, to be honest, and you can actually take this game as a solo game. It doesn't matter really the form of the two international sides. You've actually got two international sides that have a long history, and this game is all built up for that history, and it is like a cup final. And listen, okay, I've got the accent, but I support England through family connections, etc. I always have done. I've travelled to England games, etc. So I've got a little bit. I've got the knowledge of the England fan, and the fan does look at this game, and you don't want to be getting beat by your old enemy, but that's the nature of this competition, and it can throw up wonders. And now the fact that Czech Republic are beating Croatia, that puts the pressure onto Scotland to try and get a victory over England, or even at least a point. So the game has just become so much more important, really, for everyone. I mean, the game's not finished. The game's obviously not finished. It's playing just now. And especially now, if Croatia go and get a couple of goals and win the game, that would be Croatia, Czech Republic, and England on 3 points as well. So I think what happens is here, Steve Clarke set out very, very negative for Scotland against Czech Republic. And I think that people could say that Gareth Southgate potentially done the same. And when you look at the England game against Croatia, I thought the first 20 minutes were very good for England. It died its death in the first half. And really, apart from Sterling's goal, there wasn't a huge amount of excitement in the game from England, to be honest. So that's why I think we're going to see a bit of a spark and a bit of a change. I think Scotland are going to make changes dramatically, and I think we will make maybe a couple, and I think that's why we'll see Jack Grealish. So it'll be interesting to see what team selections they do. And this game has got the vibe that it could be down to the managers and what decisions the managers make, because if Scotland decide to be negative, it invites England on. If England decide to be negative, Scotland will think we've got nothing to lose, and they've got ability. Scotland do have individual players there that are game changers, and if you think about the Scotland game against the Czech Republic, they could have actually had a couple of goals, and it was just really down to their finishing. They actually got through and penetrated the Czech Republic defence, but they just couldn't kind of get the ball over the line. And then when it comes to England, you've got a lot of attacking players that can change games, and 1-0. It just wasn't a great experience really against Croatia. So I think tonight's game, like I said, you can remove the Euros from it. It's an old enemy. It's the two teams coming up against each other, and it's an opportunity here now for it's like British Isles bragging rights really. And I think again, this game could be down to managers' decisions more than individual or player performances. If Scotland decide to be negative in terms of their approach by playing 3 centre-backs, which is what they did against the Czech Republic, that then is a sign of potentially an opportunity for England to go for it. But if England also sign up negatively and don't attack at Scotland, then that's a no-brainer. I don't know if you're coming on. Are you coming on? Give me the thumbs up or down. Yeah. Cool. We're going to bring in Stel. I mean, listen, Stel, I'm not going to lie, mate. I've never done a huge amount of research for today's show. Just the way that the lands lie today, it's been a bit of a busy, crazy couple of days. But we've got
I thought I'd come on to save the day because you were just rambling, mate.
We've got the old enemy tonight. England, Scotland. I mean, I was just saying.
You. How do you feel about that?
It's a little bit like I was saying to the guys here in the chat. I'm just ignoring you, as you can tell, as I normally do. It's a little bit like you can move the Euros competition away, and it's just down to this one game. And the vibe is, I heard about your show yesterday. I didn't even know you'd done a show, and you've done the mute again.
Yeah, I did. 5 minutes long. I don't know, mate. I don't know. There you go.
I don't know what's wrong with you. So listen, in all seriousness, remove the Euros from this competition. This game is a one-off game, really, isn't it? I mean, you've got good memories of England, Scotland. Come on.
Mate, look, there's only one team that's going to win it tonight. If England can't win this game and win it comfortably, then don't deserve to go any further than the group stages. Because it's got to be a game with the, we keep hearing about the talent that England have got. This has got to be a game where not only do we win, but we win with the greatest of respect to Scotland. We should be winning it with ease. And if we don't,
And it's funny, still, you're saying that I've got some family members, I've got nieces and nephews, and they're asking me questions like, you know, some of them support England, some of them support Scotland, and some of them are saying to me, does Scotland have a chance? And what I'm trying to explain to them is, on paper, England should beat Scotland. But when it comes to games like this, it's probably the one fixture out of the three that I fear the most because of the pressure the game brings, the history between the two clubs. And Glenn makes the point. They're not convinced by Southgate. Is Southgate setting up a bit negatively?
I think Southgate's gone backwards.
Yeah.
I remember when he took over England, it was quite, it was quite an exciting time, and he seemed to be quite, attack-minded, and it feels as if he's as if he's regressed. So if he sits back against the Scottish, they do stand. They might have a chance, but we should just have too much for them to cope with. To be honest with you, we really should.
Is it weird that when we spend so long talking about West Ham, so long dissecting the games, and now we're actually coming into this and being overly confident? Is that a concern as a fan? I love that you're honestly, mate. There's confidence coming out of you dramatically. Look at you, just chilled out, relaxed. You're like, England are going to destroy them, and that's it.
Well, I'm not saying that they're going to destroy them. What I'm saying is that we should win comfortably. I'm saying that with the squad that we've got, even though he made a mistake not taking Jesse Lingard, with the squad that we've got, there should be more than enough in the locker to get to win this comfortably. I'm not saying it will be easy. I'm not saying we're going to run away with it, but I reckon it'll be, the Scottish will be up for it because it's always, the old enemy and all that sort of stuff. Should mean that they'll give us a game, but I still think England should be comfortable enough to see it through.
Yeah.
Talk
to me about Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips got a lot of plaudits against Croatia. He did play really well. No, but he did play. We can't even remotely take it away from him. However, if we had to look at and dissect that game a little bit further, it was the Declan Rice experience that allowed Calvin Phillips to do what he done.
Declan made it possible for Calvin Phillips to have the game he had. Without Declan behind him, you wouldn't have seen Phillips play as good a game as he did, because basically Declan was told, sit back, don't go forward, sit back, cover that just the back four, and stay there. I can't remember how many times Declan went into the opposition's half, hardly at all. That was all about Phillips doing that, and that's fine, that's okay. You have players that do that sort of job, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But without Declan there, I know we're sort of claret and blue tinted glasses, but without Declan there, Phillips wouldn't have been as effective as he was.
Because
and Phillips did play well.
What you actually see is you see a lot of the stats, and he's fantastic. You see a lot of the stats from Phillips for the game against Croatia, but a lot of people didn't actually see the stats that came from Declan Rice, and they were up there for the defensive duties of England. Now, the thing is, I've seen loads of comments, people saying, in actual fact, you don't have to compare the players all the time. You can actually just credit both of those players for playing well together. And it's a little bit like the importance of Declan Rice and Thomas Souček. It just shows you how important each of those two players are to West Ham, and how potentially important Phillips and Rice are to England. Maybe
Southgate's been looking at the West Ham setup and going, right, so Declan sits primarily, Souček goes forward. And maybe he's followed that example and he's gone to Declan, do what you do for West Ham. I know Declan and Souček kind of take turns going forward, but Souček goes forward far more than Declan does. Yeah. And maybe he's turned around to Declan and say, play the way you play for your club, and then he's gone to Phillips, Declan's going to sit there. You do
allow you to do what you need to do.
And allow you to do what you
Couple more players I want to discuss with you. You can go and check that out. I just got a little bit excited earlier on this afternoon and gave everyone a rendition of the John Barnes rap. Thomas Souček is currently playing alongside Vladimir Coufal as Czech Republic have gone in at half-time, beating Croatia 1-0. These two guys are just the model professionals, aren't they, still? They just turn up each and every single game, giving a performance to the highest level.
Who are you talking about?
It just shows Souček and Coufal.
Mate, we're apparently renegotiating Coufal's contract with West Ham, trying and get him a bit higher than the 30 grand a week he's earning, because he bloody well deserves it.
He absolutely
And
does.
and what he that cross for Schick's first goal in the first game,
Yeah.
it was what we have come to expect of him at West Ham. Brilliant cross. It was there to be scored, wasn't it? And he's been superb. And Souček, another quiet performance, nothing too, what's the word, elaborate, just does his job well in the center of the park. I mean, we bought, it's great to see players being utilized in the same way for their club as they are being utilized for their country, and that's how you get the best out of them. And Soufal and Souček are superb professionals, absolutely superb professionals.
One player I do want to talk about, it's been mentioned in the chat already, is Super Yarmolenko.
Oh, mate. I keep saying, I've said it. If he stays fit, if he stayed fit last season, we might have got into the Champions League.
So I remember when we first signed him, I think me and you, actually, we don't agree a lot, but we did agree on Yarmolenko. I think we like what Yarmolenko can bring when he's fit. However, when he's not fit, it's a bit of a disappointment. However, for some reason, he stays fit every single Ukrainian international game.
There's a reason for that. Where he's expected at West Ham to keep running back and covering, doing his defensive duties, he's not necessarily expected to do that for Ukraine. So he does a lot less running. I'm not saying that is the main reason, but it just seems that, a lot of people are speculating that Yarmolenko is going to be great if we keep him for the Europa League, and lots of other people are speculating that he's going to be worth an awful lot more money now that he's playing really well. And there's news out today that apparently he doesn't want to renew his contract at West Ham. Well, no shit. It's not likely that we're going to give him a renewal anyway. So if he was a player that would stay fit, I'd say keep him. But you just can't guarantee him staying fit for a whole season. So great that he's doing well. So instead of getting 5 million for him in the transfer market, we might get 8 million for him.
It's interesting. I've done a video before the Euros came on saying if Yarmolenko has a good Euros, where does that lie? Does it mean that, like you said, still we then look at getting a bigger transfer fee, and or he is the sort of player still that can really work wonders in the Europa League? Like he's the player who's got the experience of playing in those competitions. And if you think back to when last time we played in the Europa League, we had the likes of Figuli and Gökhan Tor and Nordtveit. But then you're talking about a player like Yarmolenko, who performs at the highest level, at international level, and has performed previously at his previous clubs. So maybe he is a player that maybe Moyes would want to be in and around that squad. And like you said, how much money really will we pull in for an injury-prone 30?
I think the thing that's going against Yarmolenko staying is it's his last season. West Ham are going to cash in. He's on 115 grand a week, and it's his last season coming up. So Moyes is going to go, do I risk it that I keep him as a to strength, to have depth in the squad, and then risk losing him for half a season, which has happened every season he's been with us, or do I cash in on him? I think Moyes will cash in on him. I get the experience, but he'll go to, I don't know, he'll go to another club in, I don't know, some other league that isn't so demanding, and he'll smash it there. And probably because it'll be less demanding, he won't get as injured as much. Moyes will look at it and go, what last year in the last year in his contract, is it worth the risk, or do I get 5 million for him and use that to go and buy a younger player that's not necessarily going to get as injured? I think it's the latter. I think he will get rid of him. I think he will.
It'll be an interesting one to see how
he looks great, doesn't he? Look at him. Is he one of the top goal scorers at the moment?
No, he's second top for Ukraine. In the competition, yeah. I think your man from Czech Republic has got 3 goals.
If we didn't know who Yarmolenko was and we were looking at him playing, we'd go, he's worth a shot.
Well, his age because of Moyes' new model, we wouldn't be looking at that. However, the other question I want to ask you still is, before we head, you put yourself into Moyes' shoes, and you've watched a bit of the competition. I'm not saying you've watched every single game. However, what the games you have watched, what players have impressed you that haven't been potentially linked to West Ham, or even if they have been, it doesn't matter. But is there any players there that you realistically think West Ham could look at and bring in?
I'd like us to look at Schick, the Czech Republic player. But it's interesting because I was reading the pundits' comments about him. Jurgen Klinsmann's on the game today, and he said, oh, what a goal! Wow.
Are you ahead of me?
Scored. Croatia's just scored.
Oh, I'm on the iPlayer. That's why I'm watching it on the iPlayer. So they've gone straight from the
kickoff. Straight from kickoff. I like us to look at Schick, but it's interesting that Jurgen Klinsmann's comment about Schick is that he'll play one game, score 2 goals, and then he'll disappear for 2 games. But he looked okay. Who else? I'm trying to think. Doniel, what's his name? Malins. No, not Doniel Malins. He hasn't played. The number 10, the Netherlands number 10, who's on a free. He used to play for Man United.
Memphis Depay.
Memphis Depay. He's on a free.
He's off to Barcelona.
Oh, is he? Well, no, that's what we were. But I don't know if he's signed yet.
I think he's not signed yet. But
not right.
I think it's pretty much. I mean, I don't think he's going to knock back that opportunity still.
Yeah.
He's going to knock back that opportunity.
And then Vaklik looked decent in the first game for the Czech Republic. Goalie. Yeah. He looked okay. Quite liked him. There's 1 or 2 others. Can't think of at the moment. But
a couple of players in particular I want to talk about is Joel. I can't pronounce his name. Paul Jampalo from Finland, the Finnish striker.
Oh yeah, he looked good. Yeah.
Actually, he is. If I were a scout, I'd be like, and they've done a big feature on him at half time and a big feature on him at the end of the game. Now, I know they got beat, but I don't know if you've seen the goal that was disallowed for Finland.
Yeah,
he
brilliant.
Was unbelievable, but his ability to track back, he was a clever striker. He was like he wasn't like your Antonio, which bullish striker, but he was just tricky. He was clever. He passed out and he made good runs into the box. He's one. And then the Swedish striker I actually really liked, and he currently plays at Mönchengladbach. His name just went by me there, and it will just come to me now. Is Alexander Isak.
Okay.
Really, really good quality, big centre forward, strong. He's really young, but he's got a really good history. And I think, if I was Moyes looking at this competition, I mean, players are going to be playing for new contracts and new careers and potential, transfer moves, etc. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw, Moyes looking at those players. And the funny thing is still, me and you are looking at it from Moyes' point of view. We're not looking at it for if the likes of, I don't know, another player goes and scores 10 goals, that realistically is going to be. You've got
to remember, and as people have said before, don't just look at a player because of these tournaments. You've got to look at a player's, the season that they've had. Look at Kral. We've been linked with Kral all the last couple of months. And he looked awful the other day. He looked average.
Didn't look good at all, did he?
Didn't look good at all. But yet people are saying, don't look at that game. Yeah. Look at the the season he's had. And the same goes the other way around. Just because someone looks good in a tournament doesn't necessarily mean they'll smash it in for a whole season. So you've got to be careful. But that guy that you said, the Finnish striker, looked kind of decent the other day. I don't know. I think the good thing is Moyes doing his job as a technical advisor to UEFA puts him in a very good position, because he's basically scouting players, and writing reports on them. So clearly he's going to use that to his advantage for West Ham.
Well, I think
he's got 1 or 2 up his sleeve that we wouldn't have heard of.
Well, the interesting thing about today's game is Kral didn't even make the starting lineup.
He didn't even make the starting lineup. Yeah. So Samantha wants to know who you're supporting tonight.
I think she says evening Stella and Anton. Won't bother asking Anton. Well, who are you supporting tonight? Is that not for you?
Well, I know who I'm supporting tonight, but
I know who I'm supporting. Of course. Why would you ask me that?
Well, so you are supporting Scotland then?
Oh, shut up, Stella. I'm actually. If you'd actually seen the picture, my mum has put a St. George's flag up outside of her house, outside the front window of her house. Now remember, For
Have
what
you been
everyone,
pelted with eggs and everything yet?
For anyone that doesn't know, yes, I do live in Scotland. Yes, I've got the Scottish accent. However, we do support England, so we're going down and having a bit of an England party, socially distanced, of course.
Of course. I think going back to the whole thing, I think Moyes has got his eye on one or two players that I think it's intriguing. You know, you and I have been doing transfer shows almost every day, and we know for a fact that about 80, Suchek just missed 80% of the transfer stories we put out are total tosh. And we also know for a fact that David Moyes has got his own private little list of players that he's looking out for, that we would not have even dreamt about. So there will be one or two players he'll be looking at here. Donyell Mallons is the other one I was going to mention, who hasn't really gotten a lot of game time, but or has he played at all for the Netherlands? I'm not sure if he's come on at all yet, but he's another target that people are raving about, saying he's another great talent that should be starting. We saw Berghorst the other day. He looked all right for the Netherlands. To be honest, I didn't think he was that great, for the Netherlands. And people are talking about him, but I can't see him, to be honest with you, either. I don't know. There's going to be
another player for. I'm going to do it next week. Actually, the transfer that we're linked to is Duj Kaleta-Kar, who plays for Marseille, the Croatian defender.
Mate, we were linked to him in the Pellegrini era.
Of course, but we're linked to bloody everyone still. I mean, how many players have we been linked to all of our life?
There's that other defender that's come up again today, Coley, that I think you did a show about a year and a half ago. His name has popped up yet again. We're running out of players that we've been linked to. So all the newspapers and the social media things are just regurgitating all the old links. And Kaleta-Kar, I actually quite like him. I think he's all right.
I do like him.
Yeah,
I think he had a decent game. He's not playing today either, which is disappointing because that's strange, isn't it? You want to see these players, etc. But he does look like a player that would actually fit the mold of it was close. Fit the mold of what West Ham are looking for, and I think it's now becoming quite clear still that defensively Moyes is going to be looking at strengthening.
He's got to. He's already said. And by the way, Jordan, no, mate, we're not doing a watch. We're not doing a watch. No, sorry, mate. I want to enjoy it too much to do a watch along. Yeah. Apologies for that.
Not that we don't want to enjoy West Ham games either, but we do.
Well, yeah, good point. No, well, he's already said centre back, attacking midfielder, and striker are his priorities. Yeah. He's already said that. And so whether we buy, loan, get a freebie, so long as we get those three positions in, then he can start thinking about other positions around the team. Yeah. I still think we need more than that. I know you said the same thing, but he's said priorities: centre back, attacking midfielder, as in Lingard, and a striker. Excuse me, and then we can start thinking about other players in other positions. But Kaleta-Kar's good. Kaleta-Kar's good. Yeah.
Getting back to West Ham, today they announced we're taking on Scottish Premier League club Dundee in a pre-season friendly on the 9th of July. So that coincides with the tour of the kind of pre-season camp. On mute, probably. You probably need it on mute, depending on what Stell would say, because we'd get in trouble if Stell was not on mute. But I think what happens is West Ham are going to be coming to St Andrews. The aim is that I'm going to be heading up there for a couple of days to try and, well, not just for that, to go and enjoy the area. It's a lovely area.
Little I know about Scotland geographically. How far is Dundee from St Andrews?
Good question.
Oh, you don't even know yourself.
Good question. But again, we need to wait and see what the rules are. I said this at the beginning of the show. I need to know, because the aim is for me for the pre-season is, the club will be here for a week. So if I can bring you as much content as I can, now I know where they're training, etc.
Are you actually going to go and approach them this time? I know you were a bit shy last time.
I really did become shy. I'm not going to lie. I'm not normally like that.
Last season, people, Anton went to the place that they were training. They walked past him. He sent me all these photos. Don't you remember? You said, so-and-so's just walked past me. And I'm like, Go and interview him.
Yeah, but the difference was it was the world of COVID, which it still is, but you just didn't know what you were allowed to do and not allowed to do. Ever since then, I've actually seen that people can and have been approaching the players. So what my aim is, I'm going to be bringing you some content live from the training area. I haven't said that to the missus, and hopefully she's probably not listening to me just now, but she'll have the kids at the beach maybe.
Here, darling, why don't we go away on a little break for a few days? I'll take you to a nice place in Scotland. I'll see you later, 3 hours later. you're on cam, you're doing a video.
Do you know what, though? It's a lovely part of town, and do you know what? It's actually a full-blown, the university's fully set up for professional sides to do the camp that David Moyes has done. And to be honest with you still, I think that camp done West Ham wonders. Because look at the season we just had. We didn't have to bother about long journeys away. It didn't need to be all about the heat. It was the old school way. They ran on the beach. They ran on the sand dunes. They went to the university. They'd done their training. They came back out at night time. They ran on the sand dunes. So I think I will be back under the stairs, to be honest. I'm enjoying this space though still. It's really cool. It's
yeah, I wonder what your kids think about it. They're out in the garden in the rain, aren't they?
No, well, we don't have the rain today. I've seen all the weather down south. Our weather's lovely up here today.
People, if you don't know, Anton kicked his kids out of their playroom in order for him to set up a studio, and it's so that he didn't sit under the stairs. I mean, you know, parenthood these days, not what it was like when I was.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's not just a studio; it's also a playroom because you've got the toys literally lying everywhere. Yeah. So,
isn't it interesting that every time Anton's there, you don't see a sign of the kids? You know, their playroom is locked when he's in there.
Yeah, I was going to say I wish, but I better not say that. Listen, still, I mean, we've rambled on.
Have you done a preview of the game, or was that like, oh yeah, England, Scotland, England going to win?
It was a brief chat. My niece is in. Look, she's in. Look, my niece. She's supporting England tonight as well. So
good afternoon to you, Jay.
Yep.
Yes, mate. Go on.
Predictions for the England-Scotland game, the old enemy.
Honestly, I think 2-0.
2-0. And who's on the goal? Yeah. Well, listen, I'm hearing that Grealish is going to start tonight. Your favourite man.
3-0 because he'll get a penalty. I'm sorry, people. Why would he change the front line? I don't understand.
I think a lot of teams are actually doing it, and I don't understand it, but I think he maybe wants. I think what's going to happen tonight is that Scotland will change.
Look, Jordan. I hope Grealish dives and gets sent off. I tell you what, you know, if he dives, he needs to be punished. I hate it. Win fairly. Win fairly. Don't win by cheating. You know, that man, you know, cannot. Someone said the other day about, you know, wouldn't you have Grealish at West Ham? And I went, he'd dishonour players like Devonshire if he played at West Ham, because you never saw a player like Devonshire go down, you know, just a little, you know, for nothing. Yeah. I can't stand him. Can't stand the player. You know,
so the news coming out of Scotland is that they're actually starting Billy Gilmore, 20-year-old lad who plays for Chelsea, who's literally from up the road where I live. But this guy is a talent. He's he can spray the ball over the midfield. He can collect the ball. He is tiny still. He is absolutely tiny, but he's clever at using his body weight. He knows how to brush off of a big lad. He's a sort of kind of midfielder. Sometimes you feel like you might need to man mark. And a lot of my mates who went to the Scotland game were actually saying they were surprised that Steve Clarke didn't bring him on because he is a bit of a game changer. I don't know what the situation is with Billy Gilmore at Chelsea. I'm hearing rumours that he might be heading out on loan, but that is also to do with the fact that they have abundance of players and they tend to send these players out on loan. We seen one at West Brom last season. He looked absolutely quality. I had to order a West Ham United cover for my AirPods Pro. Thank you. Well, for that. Good man, thank you.
Thank you, William.
So I think if he is going to start, and this is what I was going to say to you about Southgate matching what Scotland will do, I do think he will have to match what Scotland does, which is maybe putting a couple of game changers in. Now, I know you don't like Grealish still, But when you take away his diving, when you take it away, which is tough to do, the player himself is a quality player.
I must be the only English fan that doesn't think that. I don't know why. I think he's all right. I think he's all right. I don't think he's brilliant. And I must be the only person. Take the diving out of the equation. You know, people are talking about him in the mould of Gascoigne. I can't see it myself. He's got, you know, I don't know. I'm clearly missing something, because I just don't think he's world class. I really don't. And I'm clearly not seeing what other people are seeing. And you know, I want to see from Grealish, if he does play. I want to see him stay on his feet, and I want to see him prove to me that he's world class by you know, controlling the game tonight if he's picked. So I get why Southgate might play him, you know, in order to combat the Gilmore thing. But yeah, I don't know, mate.
What do you think? I mean, people are in there saying they would actually like Gilmore on loan at West Ham. I mean, I can't see it happening.
I have him on loan. I can't see it happening, but I take him on loan. If Lanzini's leaving the club, which we're hearing that he might do, great little replacement. Why not? You know, similar kind of player, nippy, you know, good technical ability. Why not? Why not?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go for a 2-1 England win. Fingers crossed we can get something over the line. And if England win tonight, that confirms their qualification. But just to remind everyone, the top 2 from the 6 leagues qualify for the knockout stages, and 4 of the best third-place teams qualify for the knockout stages. So there's only 2 of the leagues in the Euro 2020s third place teams that don't qualify, so there's a really strong possibility for a lot of teams.
You've got to be pretty crap to not qualify, haven't you? I mean, that's the bottom line. You've got to be pretty bloody rubbish not to get through the first stage, because once you're in the knockout stages, anything can happen.
Yeah,
you know, and you know, so
absolutely.
Well, anyway.
Well, that brings it into our daily. Still, hopefully we'll come back with a bit more of a productive show for you next week, and we'll get cracking.
Might do 1 or 2 little weekend things.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a few things.
I'm going to do the West Ham Weekly on Sunday, because it just there's no game in the evening. It makes a lot of sense, and who knows, we might come on tomorrow and talk a little bit about William, mate. Save your money, but thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Still, honestly, it's hilarious, because sorry, I just have to briefly bring it up. Lots of people contact myself and Stell and Alfred, West Ham, Irons United, and say, we want to support you guys financially, all that sort of stuff. Now, listen, we're not even going to remotely lie. Myself and Stell and all the guys work. We all got full-time jobs. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. We if we could do this full time, it'd be amazing. But we don't want. Realistically, that's not going to happen. So we may have something up our sleeves that you may want to be interested in the coming weeks, maybe month or so, depending if we just get it all finalised, all that sort of stuff. That maybe you can give us a bit of a helping hand if you want to. It's up to you, no pressure, all that sort of stuff. But we're certainly not going to be ramming it down your throats whatsoever. And the prime example of not ramming it down your throats is when Still does this. William, save your money, mate. Don't give us any money. Who's West Ham's biggest rivalry?
But we do appreciate it. Who's West Ham's biggest rivalry? It depends, doesn't it? Traditionally, Millwall, Premier League, Spurs. Would that be about right? Yeah.
Probably about right, yeah. Yep, between the two. What's this comment here? GP, even though I hope Scotland wins for Anton's sake. What, for the sake of me, my house getting egged and all that sort of stuff? I really hope not. What's this here? I don't want an army of people wearing face paint and dresses around the country. I don't know. It'll be interesting. And if Peach is in the house, come on, you 3 Lions. Yeah, I've had the songs on. I was sitting in the car earlier on still, and I heard Freddie in the background. I mean, I've obviously molded Freddie into a mini me, and he's sitting in the background and he's going, "Express yourself. It's one-on-one." That shows you how much I've listened to World in Motion today. So listen, get behind whoever you want to get behind, but get behind England. What's this here? Look at this thing. Listen, I'll save my money. I hope you soccer fans. No, William, you don't. I'm not meaning it in a bad way. You can still comment. Just keep commenting. It's fine. It's fine.
Really appreciate it, William.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
really
mate.
do. Really do
Thank
appreciate it. Listen, thank you very much for joining us. Like Stel said, another thing is Crawl's on. Crawl's come off the bench for Czech Republic.
Just come on as well.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. But make sure you join us. Yeah, let's give a couple of sporadic shows over the weekend still and see where that goes. Thank you for joining us. Hit the subscribe button. Hit all crawls through. I'm delayed, so you've already know what's happening. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Still anything you want to say?
No. Enjoy the game. See you all later.
Take it easy. Thank you for joining us.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, you Irons. Come on.